Welcome everyone to my channel. This is Cynthia Wambui Otieno with Ignite Your Spark. Now, in this channel, we are going to have different topics. We're going to be speaking about different things. And today, or this particular series, I'm going to do a 4-part series. So it's important that you join me. The 4-part series will be on accountability. That's right, accountability. We're going to be talking about the power of accountability. We will talk about the different women we need to have in our relationships. We will also talk about signs of when accountability is not working, when toxicity gets into the relationship. We're going to talk about the different spheres of or areas that we are, the women that we become in terms of accountability. So join me this series because I am going to break it down. I'm going to bring some real authentic conversations as we ignite our sparks together. So on this particular episode, I'm going to be speaking to you, in particular, the 4 women that every woman needs to have in her accountability circle. I want you to sit down with a pen and paper because this totally blew my mind, thinking about what are the 4 women that are critical and important in your life. Are we ready? Now, when I think about accountability, I think about actions and decisions and the consequences thereof. What are the things that I need to do? What are the actions I need to take? And who's going to walk alongside me in the process of the actions and decisions I need to make? Now, it's very clear that one cannot walk alone. We are not an island. There are people that are going to walk alongside in our walk of life. And in the walk of life, it is important that you have some particular people that will come alongside your journey. Everyone has very different seasons. I can remember growing up, I had different people that came into my life that were important in terms of the decision-making process that I had to go through. I remember my early teenagehood. I had friends and relatives and people that held my hand. I remember in my early 20s, I made some foolish decisions. You remember your 20s, I can't even begin to imagine what my 20s, if I was to publish. But in my experience in the course of time, as I've thought about accountability, as I've had a relationship with God and been able to look back, especially because now I'm in my midlife, I want to tell you 4 women from my evaluation in life, from my own past mistakes, from my failures, 4 women I needed to have and I have made part of my life today. Are you ready? The first woman you have to have in your life is a confidant. Yes, a confidant. This woman who is your confidant, or this person, because I know there are some men that will be listening and saying, hey, why are you leaving us out? Okay, which person, it will work for both ways, is a confidant. Somebody who you can trust with your secrets, your inner dreams, your vision. Somebody you can actually relay that information and beyond a shadow of doubt that this person is going to carry your dream and nurture that dream with you to fruition. The confidant is not afraid of your potential, is not afraid of the possibilities of you becoming bigger. The confidant is able to carry that because she or he has had a walk with God and is confident that God has a purpose and a plan for you. A confidant is able to actually nurture the secret within your relationship, nurture the secret of what that conversation looks like. And I know as you're looking at this conversation, you're wondering, what exactly does that mean? Where do you see that context in the Bible? I can give you a couple of examples where I see a confident relationship between 2 people. Remember the story of Mary, the mother of Jesus, when she had to go and visit Elizabeth and she was pregnant and she did not even disclose to Elizabeth immediately what was happening. But Elizabeth already knew what was happening because the baby in her womb jumped. A confidence process is very interesting. That even the fact that you have a relationship with her, the baby in her womb will jump because of how she has carried you in prayer, carried you in the season of incubating dreams and vision. Every one of us needs an Elizabeth, needs a Mary. You're either the Mary in the relationship or you will be an Elizabeth. But whatever the circumstances, are you a confidant? Can you be trusted with a conversation that your friend or your confidant gives to you? And so that's number one. Be a confidant. Number two, it's critical and important. And this woman is, I love her. I love the cheerleader. She's a cheerleader. And whenever I think of a cheerleader, what plays in my mind is that I see pom-poms and dancing and saying, woo, hooray, you know. And the cheerleader is the person in your life that really cheers your victories. This is a person who wakes up in the morning and actually is glad to send you a text message or call you and say, you have done well, Cynthia. You are amazing. You are walking in your purpose and your vision. And the cheerleader takes it upon themselves, takes the initiative to actually recognize that there are some things that you're doing very well. It is not just, oh, you're great. Is that, imagine when you served, when you were ushering in church on Sunday, I really enjoyed the fact that you greeted every person intimately and they felt loved, they felt celebrated, they felt needed. The cheerleader recognizes their role to actually be part of the squad that brings a smile to your face. In life and in the seasons of life that you're going to walk in, a cheerleader will be necessary. Why? There'll be a project that you will need to accomplish. A cheerleader will help you sustain that. A cheerleader will actually celebrate the milestones. And sometimes we all have what we call the low-lying fruits of life. Do you have a cheerleader to celebrate that milestone? Do you have a cheerleader to speak into your life even when you have failed and you feel failure has stepped in? Cheerleaders are necessary in 2023. If you're not a cheerleader today, please wake up this morning and actually cheerlead somebody into their next breakthrough, into their next season. I think and I believe cheerleaders are what we need in this season. The third woman, are you ready? So we've talked about earlier, we talked about the confident, okay? And now we've talked about the cheerleader. So let's talk about the third woman that you need to have. This is the coach. I can hear all the coaches saying, yes, it is us. So we need the coach. The coach is so necessary in your life. The coach is the woman who comes alongside you. And again, I use the woman because I talk to women a lot. I am a coach by profession. So you will need a coach that will ask you the big questions, the hard questions, the thought-provoking questions into your destiny. The coach will be necessary to walk alongside you and ask you some very important questions that help in your transitional phases, in your transformational period. This person asks the questions and helps you navigate life and navigate one season to another. Do you have a coach in your life? Do you have somebody who asks you the tough questions? And I pause for a minute, because every one of us needs a coach. I remember in my early 20s, I needed a coach to help me navigate. What does life after college look like? What does work look like? What is the difference between significance and success? And how do I navigate those two? And even try to even balance. What does purpose look like? How do I live out my purpose in my 20s and 30s and make significance of my 40s? Do you have somebody who can ask you that questions and will be able to help you navigate that and have some follow through? You're either going to be the coach to somebody else or someone else will be your coach. In life, every one of us in different seasons of life, we need the coach to come alongside us, to ask us the critical questions, to help us navigate transformational phases. Either you have failed out of a project or are in the next project. How do you fail forward? The coach will help you navigate that. That's the third woman you need to have. And last but not least, this one. Bear yourself, because I know you will hear this, and please don't turn off the channel because you've had this, because this one, we are so afraid of them, but they are so necessary. I must tell you this, they are necessary in our lives. Imagine you cannot escape them. You cannot pray them away. You cannot pray them. You cannot whisper them away. Imagine. But you've got to be very careful about who you choose to be your critic. That's right. The fourth person you need in your life that is so important is, do you have a critic? Now, I'm not talking about criticism. I'm not talking about cynicism. I'm not talking about condescending and narcissistic behavior. Please, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the critic. The critic is a woman who is emotionally intelligent, the person who is also mature in content and in herself, but is able to ask you the questions, why did you do what you did? And how does that impact you today? It's almost like the coach. She is almost like the coach, but the critic does not allow the status quo to remain status quo. She already, because she's, my belief is she's somebody who is in your season to see the best outcome out of you. Your critic is going to tell you, you're not there yet. We need to do better. We need to go further. What will make you move from point A to B? This is a person who moves you from mediocrity into success, into purpose. You do not settle. Many of us are in a comfort zone. Many of us, by the way, I am in a comfort zone. Even getting to start to do this was a comfort zone. I needed a critic to tell me, Cynthia, wake up. What do you have to offer the world? A critic will ask you the critical questions, but will push you to the next level with critical conversations that take you to the next level. You need the critic to call you bluff and tell you that was not good enough. You need the critic to tell you, what I saw today when you stood in front of the people was great, but can you push it a little bit further? The critic I see is a woman, and pardon me for being a bit graphic, but the woman that is the midwife that helps you push the baby, and you want to close your legs at that particular time because you're tired, you're sweating, and you want to give up. And she says, push. And she's not smiling because she knows life depends on it. Your legs need to open up and the baby needs to come out. She's not pussyfooting around issues. She wants the baby out. Do you have a critic? And as I speak right now, I'm hoping that you have one or two women, one or two men that are your critics, that you can actually say, can you hold me accountable in this particular project that I'm praying about or I'm about to start? And can you lay it down and say, what are the things that I cannot see? What are the, should I say, the boulders in my eyes I cannot see that you see? Can you see it for me? I feel I am blind in this relationship, so I need to be able to have a critic to see where the blinders, where the red flags, where are the areas that I need to see. May you wake up this morning or this night or whatever time it is in your time zone and have a critic. So, in summary, this is what I have said. We need a critic. You need to have a coach. You need to have confidant, and you need a cheerleader. These four women in all the seasons of your life will be so important in your relationship. So it's important that you recognize that. Thank you for listening to this conversation. What will be also very important is that if you like this content, please share it with as many people as possible. Share with your confidant, with your critic, with your cheerleader and your coach. Share it on your social media spaces. Let's have these conversations going. Like this page, subscribe, and let's start talking. Please leave a comment. Let me hear what you think about the critic. Let me hear your experiences about what has happened with a coach in your life. Do you have a coach? Tell me about your coach. Tell me about your cheerleader. Who are they? How have they impacted your life? I really would love to hear from you. See you next Friday. I will be waiting for you at 7 a.m. bright and early. This is Ignite Your Spark with Cynthia Wambui Otieno.